A week after meeting behind closed doors to normalize ties between the U.S. and Cuba in Havana, the communist country's leader Raul Castro is making his own set of demands. This marks the first time we hear from Castro since those historic talks. Local 10 News reporter Hatzel Vela joining us live now from the Freedom Tower in downtown Miami with more on what happened today. Hatzel.
Well, Calvin, those of us who have been following this issue closely now wondering what this is going to do to the diplomatic conversations underway, also wondering how the U.S. is going to respond. At first, Cuba's President Raul Castro does not mention the U.S. by name, only saying there is very little industrial nations can show the rest of Latin America. He then slams sanctions against Venezuela and Russia, two longtime allies of the communist country. In Costa Rica, Castro addressed the community of Latin American and Caribbean states. He then talked about the changes in U.S. policy towards Cuba, where he says governments with profound differences can find solutions to problems. But quickly, Castro reminds those in the audience that, quote, no one should expect Cuba will renounce its ideals of independence and social justice or abandon any of its principles or give an inch in the defense of national sovereignty. Castro says in order for bilateral relations to continue, the embargo must end. Castro says the land where Guantanamo naval base is now located should be returned to the Cuban people. TV Marti should stop broadcasting, and the Cuban people must be compensated for human and economic damages, likely referring to the embargo and the financial damages it has caused. Castro urged President Obama to use his executive powers to ease the blockade. The demands come a week after Assistant Secretary of State Roberta Jacobson was in Havana engaging the Cubans and hoping to reestablish diplomatic relations by first setting up embassies in both countries. Back here at home today, the State Department announced it will be using the Freedom Tower from time to time as a media hub for Latin American issues.
The epicenter of the media that are covering the Americas, particularly in Spanish and Portuguese, are here in Miami, so we wanted to be right at the heart of it.
Castro's demands, of course, enhance the argument from the Cuban exile who says the U.S. has given too much while Cuba is not giving much. Reporting live tonight in downtown Miami, Hatzel Vela, Local 10 News.